mostly work as a creator of different sorts. I'm the stage director at a fetish club. I also perform at that club. I do performances at other clubs. I worked as a go-go dancer in the scene for a really long time. I do music videos for a lot of bands, and I work as a pro dom. So I do a lot of different stuff, and it's usually on the creator end of things. I was modeling. My parents tried to push me into mainstream modeling when I was in high school. They took me to a lot of cattle calls and stuff for like high fashion modeling, and being alternative already. Like I had the height and I had the build, and I had a real exotic look, but I was too alternative, and I didn't like doing that shit anyway. So when I turned 18, I started doing more modeling, and it never really took off until I started pro doming, and I kind of slid sideways from doing, dominatrix work person to person with clients to doing fetish modeling and femdom modeling and stuff, because there's an entire market for that kind of image. So it really kind of started becoming more of a common thing for me that I did a lot of the time, and that I put a lot of my life into when I started pro doming. And then it became more of a you have this appeal as a pro dom, so there are people who want to see photos of you as a pro dom and in fetish gear and doing fetish stuff. And I was like, that makes sense. So it was kind of a sidestep from one to the other, but it really started because I was pro doming and had already tapped into the alternative sexuality market. I was a really weird, very combative, sometimes violent child. So I've always been really strange. So if I could tell myself anything, it would be just keep doing it, just keep going, keep doing what you do, and sooner or later you'll realize that you can make a living doing this, and that you can be happy the way you are, and there will come a point when you can monetize the way that you are and who you are and your personality, instead of having to adjust for other people.
So have you ever felt like people would try to morph you into what they want you to be as opposed to who you are?
When you're not a normal person and you don't have typical psychology, society as a whole tries to force you into a box of what is considered socially acceptable psychology, a psychological profile that is neurotypical. And when you don't fit into that, you kind of go one of two ways. Either you stunt yourself to fit it, or you find a way to work around it one way or another. And I found a way to work around it. For a lot of people who are on the far end of the spectrum, we have the idea of being able to fit in is so foreign to us. We're A, it's not appealing, and B, we probably couldn't. So,
it's why bother, why try?
Yeah, exactly. So there will always be people, and mostly society as a whole, that's going to try to make you be more acceptable or more normal or whatever, not to sound cliche, but you just have to find a point in your life, and there will come a point in your life where you can, embrace who you are and what you do without having to compromise it, and you can still have everything you want. You can have your cake and eat it too, and not feel like you need to chop off parts of your psychological body and amputate yourself in order to be something, so that you can have a day job and go to work and pay your rent and whatever. You can do something else to make it happen.
What you're mixed with white and Thai.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Thai food. Pad Thai is my shit.
I cook Thai food at home.
Oh,
it's so good.
Take me home with you. Let's just get fucked up and have Pad Thai, for real. Do you ever have any difficulties surrounding your ethnicity, people being weird with you,
Oh yeah, being anything but white, you get weird questions and you get weird assumptions, I'm pretty sure every Southeast Asian person, whether Thai or not, has heard something about ladyboys at some point or another in their life, which I'm you don't understand, that's a huge part of our culture, it's not a weird thing or a bad thing, they're there and they've been there for centuries. We have a cultural understanding and a history with intersex people and gender bent people that Westerners don't really seem to be caught up with. There's a lot of indigenous cultures where differing sexualities and gender identities are not a new concept at all, and they've been a recognized part of that culture for a much longer time than a lot of Westerners assume they have. So, I mean, yeah, we've all heard like the same, like probably 5 recycled jokes about Southeast Asian people for like our entire lives. Like, you know. Actually, I was into it when I was in high school. I was into doming when I was in high school. It was kind of my sexual awakening. And when I was 18, I was in the community and I was going to parties and stuff. And there was one party at some dungeon. I looked it up and went to the website to go figure out where it was so I know where I was going for this party. And it was a professional dungeon. They had a hiring banner on their website. And I was like, wait a minute, you mean I can fucking get paid to beat the shit out of people, which I love to do for free anyway? Like, hell yeah, sign me up. So I went in and did an interview and, you know, got hired. They put me through the paces. It started as a pro sub and then worked my way up to pro switch under training and then got to pro dom, and I was there for about 2 years during my training, and I've been independent ever since for about 5 years.
Nice.
So kind of on accident, I just discovered I could make money doing what I love, which is what everyone wants to do. You know, that's the dream.
Like beating men for money.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
God, yes.
As a dom, no. David Arquette came in and made it rain on me on a Tuesday at the club once, though. I didn't know it was him. I didn't recognize him because, of course, he doesn't look like he did back in the day in like the 90s. So I didn't recognize him. Someone was like, "Dude, that was David Arquette," and I was like, "Wait, from Scream?" Like they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh my god, what do you know? That's wild. What a Tuesday, I guess."
Wow.
Really weird.
Wait, so that was the dude that played Dewey.
Yeah, from Scream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you make him scream?
I did not even know he was there. I didn't even see him.
Wow. An unnoticeable David Arquette made it rain on
ghosting.
you. That's hilarious.
My tongue split like this past December.
Past December.
Yeah, like a few months ago.
And you said it hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Worth it, but it definitely hurt. I couldn't eat solid food for, I think, 96 hours. Yeah, that's how long it took me to be able to start eating solid food again.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was rough.
Dude, was it like someone punched you right in the mouth for a bit, or?
Yeah, it was basically like, it's not the cut that hurts afterwards. It's the whole lower jaw and the lymph nodes and the throat, because the pain actually comes from muscle soreness, because they have to pull your tongue out with forceps and yank it around to get at the base of it where they're doing all this surgical work and suturing and everything. So it's all muscle soreness from getting your tongue overextended for a long period of time, having it yanked around in your mouth. So it's like all the bottom jaw and up in here and down into your throat and your esophagus. So it really feels less like a cut wound and more like you got hit in the jaw with a hammer, honestly.
I was gonna ask you like your favorite band, but we've been through it. Like,
there's no way I can pick.
No way you can pick.
I am repping my Panzerfaust hoodie right now.
Oh shit!
I love Panzerfaust, but
nice.
Shout out to those dudes. They're fucking rad as shit. Super tight ass Canadian black metal fundamentalists. They're crazy dudes. They're awesome. But yeah, there's no way I could pick like a favorite band. It's not happening.
So your favorite genres were, you said it was black metal?
Yeah, like black metal, old heavy metal, and wabum and stuff like that. I love trad goth, and I love industrial, like old avant-garde, like disco industrial and performance art industrial and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's pretty much like metal, goth, and industrial are like my big ones, and especially black metal. The Priest is on tour right now, and I have not been able to go see them, and I would kill to see Priest live. I really would. Yeah. Like, of the old greats and shit, like, Priest and, like, Wasp. I would murder a child to get tickets to a Wasp show, for sure. I literally had this conversation with a chick the other day who was like, how can you just be like this? And I was like, straight up, don't be afraid to be a bitch. Like, just be a fucking cunt sometimes. Like, whether it's warranted or not, just get in the habit. Like, you gotta practice it. You gotta practice being a fucking bitch and not regretting it and not feeling guilty about it. And if you do it enough, you'll get to a point where it just becomes second nature or first nature, and you're like, I just be a cunt. Like, you know, and so I can either be nice to you or I can be a fucking bitch. And it all depends on how you treat me and how we get along. And I don't need to be, but I fucking can be, the drop of a hat. So I think more women just need to, you know, stop being so fucking polite all the time. And it's not their fault, but I know it's really hard to get out of that habit and that socialization of always being accommodating and always being pleasant and always being polite. Sometimes you just gotta whip out the fucking bitch card and be totally unapologetic about it. And just learn how to do that and make that part of yourself and embrace that, you know, and get used to it. Don't be afraid of it. Definitely. It'll get you a lot farther than being nice sometimes. I have a lot of different ones depending on what aspect of life we're talking about. But I mean, it could probably be summed up with, like, you know, don't give a fuck and do what makes you happy. Live for yourself, live by your own rules, make your own rules, construct your own universe where you can have multiple conflicting philosophies and none of them are an issue. Like, build your own world and your own life. And it's really difficult and it takes a lot of time, but you can do it. You can construct a reality for yourself that you are happy with. You just have to put in the time and the sacrifice to get there, you know? So, I guess that's pretty much it, is make your life what you want it to be. And live every day by the philosophy of, like, what am I going to construct my reality to be like? And not every day is going to be a good day, but it's going to be a lot better if, you know, your overall reality is something that you're happy with.
This is Luzia. Awesome alternative dominatrix. She dominated me during the photo shoot, definitely.